While checking out at the grocery store, a woman grabbed my cart and said, "These are my groceries, and that's my list. How do you have my list?" I stared at her completely confused because I had spent the last 40 minutes walking through every single aisle filling this cart myself. The list in my hand was written in my own handwriting on a sticky note from my kitchen counter that morning. I remembered peeling it off and sticking it to my wallet. "Excuse me?" I said, pulling the cart back toward me with both hands. "I wrote this list this morning before I left my apartment." The woman was maybe 60 years old with silver hair styled perfectly and expensive jewelry that sparkled under the harsh fluorescent lights. Her nails were manicured and her coat probably cost more than my monthly rent. She yanked the cart again with surprising strength for someone her age. "I know my own handwriting, young lady. I know my own groceries. Organic almond milk, gluten-free pasta, the high-end olive oil from Italy, the specific Greek yogurt brand with honey. These are mine, and you know it." I looked down at my cart feeling frustrated and embarrassed. She was right about every single item, but that's because I had picked them myself based on preferences I'd developed over years of careful eating. "Ma'am, I think you're very confused right now. I've been shopping here for the past hour by myself." She pulled out her phone with shaking hands and showed me a photo on her screen. My blood went completely cold. It was a picture of a grocery list with the exact same items in the exact same order, written in what looked like identical handwriting to mine. Every letter matched perfectly. "I took this photo before I left my house this morning," she said with absolute certainty in her voice. "Now explain to me how you have my list in your hand right now." People in line behind us were staring openly. The cashier stopped scanning items and stood frozen. A manager in a red vest was walking over quickly with concern on his face. I grabbed my list and held it next to her phone with trembling fingers. The handwriting was identical. Not similar, not close, identical. Same slightly crooked letters. Same way I dot my lowercase i's with a small dash instead of a dot. Same curve on my lowercase y that loops back around. "That's completely impossible," I whispered, feeling dizzy. The woman's face changed from angry to pale as she studied my features. "What's your name?" "Jolene," I said automatically without thinking. She grabbed the checkout counter like she might collapse right there on the floor. Her expensive rings clicked against the metal. "My daughter's name was Jolene. She died 32 years ago when she was 3 years old." My heart started pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. "I was adopted when I was 3. I don't know anything about my birth family. My parents never told me details." The manager arrived asking if there was a problem, but neither of us could speak or even acknowledge him. The woman was crying now with tears streaming down her face, staring at my features like she was seeing a ghost risen from the grave. "You look exactly like her. Like my mother did when she was young. The same nose, the same eyes, the same chin, the same forehead. Everything matches perfectly." She grabbed my hand suddenly, and I felt electricity run through my entire body. "I thought she died. They told me she died in a terrible accident, but they lied about everything else in my life, so why wouldn't they lie about that too?" "Who lied to you?" I asked with my voice shaking uncontrollably. "My ex-husband Gerald. He took Jolene from me to punish me for leaving him after years of abuse. He told everyone she died in a car accident that he staged. I identified a body at the morgue, but it was so badly damaged I couldn't tell for certain. I believed him for 32 years because I had no reason not to." She was sobbing openly now, and people were gathering around us. "He's still alive, living 2 towns over from me. I saw him at a gas station last month and he smiled at me like he knew something I didn't, like he was keeping the biggest secret in the world." I felt dizzy and grabbed the cart for support. My adoptive parents told me my birth mother was a teenager who couldn't keep me and gave me up willingly. They said my father was unknown, but suddenly I remembered things that never made sense. How my adoptive father got nervous whenever I asked about my past. How certain documents were always locked in a safe I couldn't access. How he once said, "Some things are better left buried forever," when I wanted to do a DNA test for a school project. "What was your ex-husband's full name?" I asked, already knowing the answer would destroy everything I thought I knew about my life. "Gerald Whitmore," she said quietly. My legs gave out completely. The manager caught me before I hit the floor. Gerald Whitmore was my adoptive father's best friend from college. The man I called Uncle Gerald my entire childhood. The man who visited every holiday. The man who gave me a birthday card every single year with a $100 bill inside and a note that said, "From someone who loves you more than you'll ever know." This woman searched for me for 3 decades while I lived 2 hours away calling her ex-husband's accomplice my father.